guys, welcome to the Stealthy Crafter. I'm Jessica, and today we are doing a Wip Chat. If you don't know what Wip stands for, it stands for Work in Progress. And what you normally do, you can bring out your own whips if you want to go and do something like chores or whatever it is. While you listen to me ramble about what's been going on in my week, we can get started. So let's get started, shall we? First off, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I apologize for the way I'm sounding right now. I've caught a cold. Thank you to my kids or to my husband. One of them has given it to me in the past week, but I can't wait for it to sound better. So I sound a little croaky at times, and then I sound completely normal, and then I start sounding croaky again. So I got some coffee. It may be a shorter whip and chat this week. I really am sorry. Also, I want to let you guys know that next week, it's my kids' spring break, so I don't know if I'm going to have a whip and chat up. It depends on if I can do one like either Sunday night, because I have mythics to do on Monday night, and usually I don't have a lot of time in between during the day when the kids are awake. So we'll just have to see. I will be doing, once my voice sounds a lot better, I will be doing unboxings, and I'm going to try and get some unboxings done so that way you guys have some videos to watch while even if I don't have a whip up. So I'm going to talk about WoW for a short minute. It's not going to take very long, I promise. It should probably take 5 minutes or so, maybe 10. But I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. It's been a fun week. We've been doing really well. We gotten all the way up to heroic Anduin, which I never thought was going to be possible for us. I thought it was going to take a few more weeks. But it looks like we might be getting to heroic jailer sooner than I thought. It just depends. Heroic Anduin is kind of rough though, so maybe we might be pushed back for a little bit. So, but yeah, we gotten all the way up there, but I still have sad news to report. I still have no tier gear, and I got a little prissy. Pissy probably is better to say instead, towards a guildmate. I felt bad. I apologized to him, and he said it was no problem. But so I only have one piece of tier that I can't even wear because it's a DPS loss. So I've been waiting for another piece of tier to drop, so that way the bonus from wearing two of them will actually be better than than not only the one. So he went, "Hey, are you sleeping?" when rolls were going out, and the tier that's for a rogue dropped, and I'm like, "No, I'm not sleeping. I already have this gear." I was already in a bad mood because it hasn't dropped since then. So like nothing has dropped for me, and I'm like, I already have this one, and I was just in a bad mood, and I apologized to him the next day. He goes, "Don't worry about it. I understand. It's frustrating." And the whole thing is, I didn't even get that piece of tier. I didn't have it drop for me. I won that roll from like a few weeks ago, and it's just been in my bags. And then I got a little sad because when my mythic group was going on yesterday, I said, we should be able to make our tier this week, right? It's this week. And they said, no, it's next week. I'm like, I have another week of disappointment, it sounds. Great. I've been trying not to gripe about it, but it's kind of getting disheartening when it's been happening week after week. I don't know what I'm going to do if it doesn't drop, and I'm just going to have to make it all by scratch. I don't know. At least I can fly and loot all the boxes, so that way I can make the materials. But it's almost like a week cooldown, but it's like it shortens by 18 hours each time you make the piece of tier. So we'll see. I don't know. one of the other things that has happened was, let's see, we gotten some people who changed from their main specs to become warriors. So now I have more people fighting me for the same tier. Yay. But this is something I'm going to gripe about, and I don't know if you guys know too much about it. I know that there's some people here who do play WoW or games similar to it, so they may have an idea of what I'm talking about. So we're not a hardcore guild. We don't expect you to do like the impossible or like stay on at all hours playing the game, right? But we do expect you to do a bare minimum of some work. So I'm an auditor in our guild. When we were going a little bit more when we were like trying to do mythic raids, and even then our mythic raids were like, oh, we just want to get the first few bosses down. Um, when we were doing that, I was supposed to check on people, see if they'd done a mythic during the week. If they haven't, just whisper going, hey, it's me. Do you guys think you're going to be able to do a mythic plus this week? If not, let me know, like that. And I would get people, varying degrees of pushback or whatnot. But it was okay because if they didn't do their mythic for 2 weeks, I just let my guild leader know and she would sit them out for the next week. So I only think we had to do that just 1 or 2 times with someone. I'm not sure. But now that I'm out of a job on that one, I do raid invites. So I invite everyone that's a raider in our guild into our group. And then I also audit to see if they are enchanting their gear. I don't know why people want to push back on gear enchants. Okay, people get frustrated about mythic dungeons. Okay, I get it. You don't want to, that's a type of content that you don't want to do. But you're physically wanting to do raids. If you want to do raids, you need to be prepared. Some of them didn't have their weapons enchanted. Some people didn't have their chests enchanted or like their cloaks. And I'm whispering people going, hey, just letting you know that the spreadsheet shows that you don't have this enchanted. Are you able to do it before tonight or, the next day? And I get people who just flat out refuse to respond to me. And I'm just like, hello. And then there's one person. He never responds to his Discord messages. He only responds if you message him in game. So you have to find when he logs on, and then you have to go and whisper him. So I had to go and whisper him in the game on raid night and said, hey, your cloak and your ring are enchanted. Any chance that you can get them enchanted before raid tonight? If not, no worries. I just need to know, just make sure you get them enchanted by next time. And he goes, well, I'm an enchanter, so this stuff should be already enchanted. I'm like, okay, but the spreadsheet in the armory says you don't have an enchanted. Could you just check your gear and see if it is? He goes, yeah, it's enchanted. This guy lied like a dog. I checked on his gear while we were raiding, and he did not have an enchanted at all. And I was just like, why are people giving me so much guff? I know I can be a bit of a doormat, and people were really surprised about how angry I was on Tuesday night. I don't normally get angry. I try not to. But that doesn't mean you get to, do what you want and then think that there's not going to be a consequence, because if someone's not going to be doing what they're supposed to be doing, I am going to report to the guild leader. Just because you think I'm not going to, that is going to happen. But yeah, anyway, we're going to go move on from that. Calm down. The last thing was we did some mythics last night. On Monday night, we did like a couple of dungeons, and we timed 2 17s. We timed two two plus 17 keys. So that was exciting. And one of them was one I haven't done this season at all. So now my score's a little bit higher, which is awesome. And we are thinking that we're actually able to get 20s soon enough, and hopefully within the next month or so. So I'm going to cross my fingers for that because that is going to be awesome. Um, but yeah, but that's enough wild talk for now. I'm going to have to be editing this while I go and farm to make my potions and flask for tonight's raid. Um, so let's see. This week has been very slow. I'm actually going to take a sip of water. My throat's starting to sound like it was about to give out for a minute. I am so sorry. I got fizzy water. But let's see. We have a slow week, and it's mainly because my husband, he's been working really long hours right now. The websites at his job keep coming down, so he's up at all hours of night right now trying to fix it, and it's a lot better this week. But last week he thinks that he was working at least 120 hours, but and that they owe him a week's comp, but we don't know if that's going to happen. He is training someone to help him out, so in case something like this happens again, he has someone for backups, especially if we go on vacation or something like that, which would be nice if we can go on vacation without a worry about his phone buzzing all the time. But yeah, he was also sick too during the week, which is ugh. And then man, most of the week I don't think I really did much except diamond paint. I watched YouTube videos, I did house cleaning, I diamond painted. It was a really, good week at the beginning. The end of the week, not so much. So Thursday comes around, actually Wednesday night, my daughter, no sign of showing that she's getting sick the next day. No sign at all. She's all like, my legs hurt a lot. I did a lot of running in gym. And I'm like, well, yeah, that sometimes, happens, especially if you did a lot of exercise that, you haven't done in a while. And she goes, yeah, I ran a lot more than I did before. It was awesome. And I'm like, well, okay. Well, that's okay. And I'm like, do you want to go rest? And she goes, yeah, I'm feeling a little tired. And so I told her good night. I had no suspicions that she was sick. She wasn't even warm. But the next day, I came into her room and she was miserable. She was burning up. I was like, this is not the same girl from last night. Excuse me. But yeah, she was just like, I don't feel good. I feel really, really miserable. And I hurt everywhere. And it was the exact same symptoms that her brother had the week prior. And I'm just like, here we go again. It's almost a week later. So the youngest hasn't shown any symptoms, luckily. So hopefully, this has passed, with me. That I'm the last person with it. And luckily it's not the you-know-what. But yeah, she wasn't feeling good. She spent all Thursday just laying on the couch, being, just looking pitiful. I checked up on her from time to time to see how she was doing. And then she asked, like, late Thursday night, she was like, do you think that I'm going to be able to go to school tomorrow? And I'm like, no, I didn't tell her that, but my brain was like, yeah, no. You still have a fever? No, you're not going to school. And instead I went, well, we'll have to see. Well, we'll see in the morning, right? And the reason why she wanted to go to school so bad, she liked school in general, but what was going on was they were going to the donut store that just opened up in town, and she wanted to try out the new donuts. And they were celebrating for the fact that they did so well on their tests. And I was just like, oh, poor kid's gonna miss the whole donut, but you were sick, you're gonna have to stay home. The next morning, she surprises me. So I go into to her room on Friday morning. I flip on the light like I normally do. She's not on the bed. She's on the floor, guys. I'm like, what are you doing on the floor? Because I didn't hear her fall out of bed or anything. Like sometimes she does fall out of bed and you hear the thump. Um, she goes, the bed wasn't comfortable, so I just slept on the floor instead. I'm like, what? She goes, yeah, I slept on the floor instead. I'm like, okay, well, how are you feeling? She goes, I feel great. Can I go to school today? I'm like, well, let's just take your temperature and we'll talk about it. We'll find out. I'm like thinking, nah, her temperature still won't, she's not going to go to school. No, perfectly normal temperature, nothing bad, like no coughing, nothing. I'm just like, okay. Normally I would keep her home for another day because I'm that type of mom. I like to keep them home 24 hours after their last time I seen a fever. Um, but she seemed perfectly fine. She really had her heart set on donuts. She still wears a mask compared to the rest of her friends. So I was like, okay, as long as you keep your mask on, as long as if you feel the slightest inkling that you're not getting that you're starting to get ill again, let me know, because luckily it hasn't been like nausea or anything, just general achy and stuff like that. But she didn't even have any body aches. She was fine the rest. She's been fine since. Thursday was the only time when she was miserable. I'm like, jeez, and here I am, like on a multi-day process of feeling like crap. I'm like, why is that? Why is it always like where I get sick and it just keeps lingering with me, but with the kids it's like within a day. I don't understand that at all, man. I kind of do, but I kind of don't. Um, but yeah, she had fun, and then um, not Thursday, Saturday we decided to go to the library, and here's where I'm gonna be like, I'm really proud of my kid, my son. So, hold on just a minute. I'm gonna take a sip of coffee. Okay. So to go back a little bit, during the spring cleaning, my oldest, she brought down some books, and these books were Junie B. Jones. And my son got really excited about them, which surprised my husband and I because he doesn't show interest at any type of fiction book. You give him a book about maps, you give him a book about flags, countries, Earth, space, anything like that, any book about that has facts about it, he will love it. Fiction books, mm-mm. He goes, I read these in school all the time. And we're like, really? He goes, I love these books. So I was like, okay, good to know. He was devouring the books that his sister gave him. So when we got to the library, I said, okay, I want you to check out 3 reading books, and if you do, you can get 1 fact book. And he tried to argue with me. He wanted to get more fact books and less reading books, which is what normally happens. He'll get maybe 1 and then like several things about space. I'm like, no, this time you're getting 1 book about facts because you can't ever get through all the books in time because they're so thick. Let's get the reading books and then you can get 1 of these. So we set it at 3. He got 5 reading books, guys. And a lot of them are Junie B. Jones, but I think there was a couple like pigeon books. And his twin sister loves Junie B. Jones as well. She also loves Amelia Bedelia. So we got in like we got sorry, I'm stuttering. We hit the jackpot, I feel like, because they got brand new books in there for the kids. The kids haven't seen these books before. And they're chapter books too, so which is awesome. So we found some Junie B. Jones, and it's like first grade at last, because the book starts off when you're as a kindergartner. He found some first grade ones, and then Amelia Bedelia has some like older kid books too. So both of them were like feeling very grown up. And the oldest, she was very helpful in directing them to find these books, because she's already been in that section. The kids usually get the smaller books all the time, so it was a really good day. Especially then at the end of the day, Nana showed up, and oh my god, the kids were so excited to see their Nana. Um, she came by. She didn't stay very long. She came by to drop off some diamond paintings for the kiddos, because she made them some stuff and framed it for them, so they're now hanging on the walls. But yeah. Oh, here's something for you guys. Okay. Did I mention this I don't remember. I'm my brain's fine. Anyway, we got a brand new mattress. Yay! I'm excited. I'm really excited. And we got a new coffee maker, and we got bed sheets for the mattress as well. Like we splurged a little bit. Not like like splurge, but we were like, yeah, time for new bed sheets and everything like that. I don't remember if I mentioned it already in the earlier part of the video, so probably won't go into the same details again. So, but yeah, new mattress. Yes, I'm hoping that it's going to be soft, like it said it was, because my husband has made me stay downstairs. We brought the old mattress downstairs and onto the living room floor, and we had to sleep on it for 48 hours downstairs while we wait for the new one that's on our bed frame already to fully inflate. He's like, I'm not taking any risk. We're letting this thing fully inflate. 48 hours, no one's touching it. So 2:00 today, I get to touch the bed. I get to go doot doot. I'm just gonna keep poking at it. And I'm gonna put new bed sheets on it and everything. But yeah, and then we got a new coffee maker, so I'm really loving the fact that we got a coffee maker, and we went fancy. Well, not really. To me, this is fancy. We have a water filter in it. I'm like, I've never had a coffee maker that has a water filter in it. I feel so fancy. I know, I'm silly. I'm sorry, guys. But so I want to stop for a moment. I want to take a sip of coffee too. So I haven't shown you guys this, but I got a new cover minder. So, and it's Aquarius. It matches my canvas I've out very well, because it's Aquarius as well. I'm like, I just wanted to have something a little extra, and then I bought some new pins. I'm like excited. I'm not allowed. Well, when I say allowed, I was asked to refrain from spending more, and I said, okay, that's perfectly understandable. Because I do ask to see if it's okay to get these, and I know people are like, you're asking your husband for permission. It's like, well, we ask each other to see if it's okay to get a thing. I'm not just going out willy-nilly and spending money. So I got a couple of pins. So I found I've been seeing everyone talk about the black prismatic pearls from Butterfly Effect Wares, and I just wanted to get one for myself. And I got lucky with the shape I wanted with this one, because it reminds me like with this in a way. So, and it feels sort of similar to it. But then the next week I was like, well, I wanted a darker one. I didn't get the one that I really wanted, but I got look at the tiny little one. But I feel like you can see the sparkles a lot more in here compared to this one. Although on this side right here you can see the sparkles more, but like it's all over in this pin a lot. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. And then the last pin, I know I got pins. I got 3 pins. Alright, we got this one, and it's a different color than what I normally gravitate to, but I figure it's okay to branch out a little bit into like loofah, I think it was, they said that it was a loofah, and it has like purple glitters and all sorts of things in it. So I'm like really excited to try these little guys out, and I'm really excited about it. But I didn't want to try out a new pen while I'm doing a Wip Chat and feeling under the weather as well. But yeah, so yeah, Sunday we unraveled that bad boy on onto the bed. I was like, and it inflated like huge. It's like pocket coils, and then also it's a hybrid type mattress, so it has like pocket coils and memory foam and everything. So like I'm asking, I can't wait to see if it's soft as a review say. Cross your fingers for me, please. But yeah, not a lot has happened this week. We've been just everyone's been dealing with being sick and whatnot. Now I'm dealing with being sick this week. But I will leave you guys with one more story, and I'm sorry I'm cutting this off so short because my throat is starting to really get to me. But my son, I'm glad I am recording this today compared to last night or yesterday, because you guys wouldn't get this story because it just happened last night right before my Mythic group. So last night my son's getting ready to go brush his teeth, right? And his twin sister, she's already lost her third tooth, so she has a gape right now. She's like smiling, and it's so cute. I'm like, oh my gosh, you are so precious right now. But she has her fourth tooth is now wiggly, her fourth front tooth. So she's like wiggling it back and forth, like showing it to him. And he's like, I want my tooth to come out. He's still working on that second little tooth. And we've been told by the dentist to get it out because his adult tooth has emerged, and we got to get it out, or else the tooth, if it is, so that way the tooth can slide forward a bit more. If it doesn't, then we got to get braces to fix it. But anyway, he comes running to me and goes, oh, it's wigglier. I'm like, oh, and I'm like, let me see. Now my oldest knows those words with whenever you're showing off a tooth means back away because, back away because that means mommy might be pulling a tooth. She's experienced the whole thing. So he comes over and I go, let me look. And I'm like, oh, it is wiggly. And then I just push a little bit until I hear a pop. It wasn't like hard or anything. I barely had to just push downward. And he jerks back, looks at me all surprised. I'm like, I think it got wigglier. I'm like, and then he tests the whole thing out, and he's like, it did, it's wigglier, it's even more wigglier. I'm like, yep, it's even more wigglier. So what he did was he started getting a paper towel and he started messing with it. I'm like, you know what? Come sit with me. We gotta do story time anyway. And he comes over and I distract him enough. So I'm like, let me see how wiggly it is again. And he's like, okay, not thinking anything of it. My oldest, she's already knows what's about to happen. I go in, I'm like, this feels like it's about to come out. He goes, really? I'm like, yeah, do you want to try it? And he goes, no, it's okay. I'll do it myself. I'm like, I can try. He goes, no, I got it. And I'm like, okay. And then I waited a little bit and I'm like, I think it can come out today. He goes, really? And I, yep. And as I said that, I popped it out. And he was so surprised. I was just like, I was like, yep, here it is. He was like, oh, my tooth came out. I was like, oh, your tooth came out. It did. But yeah, so he got a visit from the tooth fairy last night. And man, I want to be a kid in this day and age because, when I got a visit from the tooth fairy, I only got $1. He gets $5 from the tooth fairy. Jeez. But yeah, the tooth fairies wrote him a letter and, talked about how comfy and soft the tooth fairy pillow is. We have a little pillow that's hanging by their doors whenever they lose a tooth. So it's really adorable. And he was super excited, especially when the tooth fairy said, here's a picture of my favorite state. Can you guess what it is? And it was a picture of the state that we were living in. So he was just like, he likes facts too. I'm like, yep, that's right, sweetie. But I'm gonna cut it off here. My throat is really sore now. Luckily, it doesn't sound like it's croaky, so we're gonna hope that it stays good for a while. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want. No pressure. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!